Hello again, everyone. This is Zombie Kids Rule, and I'm back with a very quick part two to the previous video for random treasure using a common event and variables, and basically, being able to leave the contents in the chest because I forgot to show you something. So I'm not going to go through the functionality again, but what I am going to do is just quickly show you the tiny difference between those four treasure chests. So if you have not watched the previous video that just came right before this, you should watch that first. And then this part two is just showing you the little tiny piece that I forgot. So in the treasure chest itself, down here, when I took a separate variable, two separate variables, to essentially remember what the common event gave us for values, because we're going to reuse that common event for each treasure chest. So I had a unique variable to this event, chest one item type. And like I said, if you were going to have more than one item, you'd have to have more variables: chest one, chest one, item two, chest one, item three. And then of course type might be the same. So what I didn't show you is that this chest, it's exactly the same, except that when we got down to that area where we're going to close the chest and the event has to remember, then this variable is slightly different. So instead of variable 25, it's variable 26, and it's chest 2 item. And this is variable 46 instead of variable 45, chest 2 item type. And again, you're setting them to the same variables, random item 1 and random item 1 type, that's used in the common event. So surprise, surprise, if we go to this chest, it's the same, only it's now variable 27, chest 3, variable 47, chest 3, and then the last one is exactly the same. Variable 28, chest 4 item, and then variable 48, chest 4 item type. And so if you were going to do something like this, you would have to essentially remember which chests you'd want to name your events appropriately. So essentially this event here, right? If I'm going here and I know that I'm using the value of chest 1, then I'm probably going to label this event chest 1. And this is going to be chest 2, and this is going to be chest 3, and this is going to be chest 4. So I'm going to name my events in a way that is consistent with the variables that I'm using to store the information that I need. Okay, so everything else that I showed you in the previous tutorial is exactly the same. And then, of course, in actuality, yes, because page 2, I should actually focus on this too. So you have these small changes on page 1, and then on page 2, the small changes are these conditional branches have to change to the correct variable, right? So chest 4, you're going to use that, and then of course the variable for the value that you're storing. Right? So back here, if we change this to variable 28, then on page 2, we have to change these values to variable 28. And if we're changing variable 48, right, then on page 2, we're going to use variable 48 for all of these different steps. Okay? And you'll see that on the third event, we're using 27 and 47, chest 3. And so when we go to page 2, we're using chest 3 and then variable 27. So remember, these are going to change, okay? And then same thing with chest 2. So on page 1, then it's down here that we're using different variables. And when we go to page 2, we're going to use those same variables to get the results that we want. Okay, so I apologize. I did not show that on the first video. So just make sure that when you are, you build your first chest, and then after that you can simply copy and paste it over here. Right now I've got another whole chest. It's going to behave the same way, but when I go into this, I'm going to have to go down here and I'm going to say, you know what, this isn't going to work for me. So I know that I'm up to chest 5 now, so I'm going to have to create a new variable, right? And I'd have to find where I have um, my thing. So chest 1 item, right? Chest 2 item, chest 3 item, chest 4 item. I'd have to add chest 5 item. And so, and then when I go to this next one, right, I have to do the same thing. I'd have to make sure that I have enough space, right? And I have to add that in. So I can duplicate my chests as much as I want, but I have to just make sure that I change those variables to make sure that the event works properly. And you can do that as many times as you want. And and I would just put I guess a note in here too. I've heard other people say this, and it is very important. When I do testing things, I tend to end up kind of running out of room because my variables are all over the place, and so it is really important to if you know you're going to do something like this with chests, you're going to want to have whole big chunks in your variables set aside. So if I know that my game's going to have 100 chests and I want to do this, then I'm going to make sure I block off 100 variables to track the type. Or maybe I need more than one variable per chest. So that's a good time to mention this too, is that when testing is fine, but when you actually go into building your game, make sure you give yourself lots of room and the same thing is within the database, right? Whether you're doing common events and you're kind of separating them, or when you're building your own items and things, make sure they're grouped in a logical way. Your variables, your switches, your common events, they really should be designed and pre-planned when you're building a game. It'll just make it easier for you. That's all. So anyway, I just wanted to do that really quickly. This is part 2 to that first part, just showing you the slight differences between each subsequent treasure chest. And the names of the chests really should be more clear. Chest 1, chest 2, chest 3, chest 4, and it should align with the variables that you are changing to, so that you don't lose track. And it's easy to make a mistake and then something's not working right, and you may not even notice it, because it could be just a very simple, you forgot to change one of these variables, 26, 26, 26, 26. You forget to change one of them, and you might not even notice it for a while. Anyway, that's it. Again, thanks, folks. I hope this helps. Sorry for not putting this in the first video, but I hope this helps you. And again, like, subscribe, get notifications, leave comments. Let me know if these are helpful to you, and let me know some of the things you're able to build. And if you find other resources, if you find specific plugins that you've tested and they work great for the same type of stuff, leave a comment and let us know. And someday I will get to plugins and explore around with them. All right, thanks, folks. Again, I will be back at some point in time in the future, and happy gaming. We'll talk to you later.